Hi, everybody. I was thinking about putting a subtitle on this, and it would have been Bonds Can Break, but I didn't know if it would accept it, so I just left it. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is that everybody is, well, not everybody, but a couple of people are going to lose what they really want. Okay, so, um, well, let's start with Billy. Let's start with the Abbots. Okay, so Billy has this characteristic where he feels like he has to prove something all the time, and so when he feels like he's right about something, he talks about it all the time, and then he gets pissed at people because he feels they lied to him, and he calls Jill today. We saw we see Jess Walton. I'd like to see her in person, but I understand. Okay, so and she says, "Oh hi, I didn't think you'd call me." And so then Billy thinks that he's got a leg up on her, and he says, "Well, Mom, have you always known that Cain was Aristotle Dumas?" And the way it came across is more demanding than I just said. And she says, are you trying to give me an ultimatum? I know you're not trying to do that. So, yeah, I don't know. But I do believe one thing. Billy, there are a couple of characters in this whole thing that need a win because I feel like they always lose. Billy is one of them. Phyllis is one of them, and kind of Sally is one of them because I don't know. I feel like now this is romantically, but I feel like Sally always gives her heart, and somehow it always gets stomped on. So I'd like that to change. Okay, so moving on from that story, we have the story of Claire and Kyle and Audra. And, the person who's tied to all of this is Victor. Now, let me tell you that I like the storyline today because Victor actually got some harsh words from Nikki and, well, not from Victoria yet, but Victoria supported her daughter in a way that she usually doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong, Victoria loves Claire. It's obvious. But she always defends her father in the way of, well, he knows best. Well, he's doing it for your best interest. Um, Today, not so much because Claire has, uh, well, Claire has a conscience, the difference between right and wrong. So when she stormed out of the house, she felt bad about it after. So she wanted to make it right with her mother, at least. And she said, "I'm so sorry, Mom. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, "No, honey. I completely understand why you said it. And your grandpa had it coming for a long time. And you could have said that and more." And then Claire makes a decision, kind of spread the moment, but not because she says, "Well, I'm gonna live my life the way I see fit, and no matter what Victor does or Grandpa does, I'm not gonna change my mind." And Kyle says, "What are you talking about?" Um, and she says, "Well, you know how we were talking about moving in together, and we looked at places, and I want to do that again." And Kyle says, "I don't know." And she says, "Well, don't you want to do it? Like, don't you want to live together?" He says, "Yeah, but." I wasn't sure what you felt about it. And then she says, I want to do it. So, and then she kind of asked her mom and says, well, we're going to do it. What do you think? Like, not asking for permission, but kind of asking her opinion. And Victoria says, you're right. You should live the way you want to live. And your father and I were never really opposed to your relationship. We just selfishly wanted more time with you. But after we saw how much you two love each other, we changed our minds. So you go do what you want to do. And Victor and his uh attitudes or whatever, I forget exactly what she said, but his side be damned. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yes, she finally stood up for her daughter. Um, okay. A little weird side note here. You know how Chance is gone now, okay? They had, well, no, they haven't even had anything for him. They had it for Cole. So I wonder if they're going to even do anything, which they should do something because he deserves it. But anyway, okay, so I've talked about this part of it before where it seems like news takes a while to circulate. And so apparently Phyllis had called Summer, and Phyllis got a call from Summer after that. And she says, I have to take the call. Then she says, after she comes back, she's somebody asked how's Summer, and she says, well, she didn't take Chance's death too well. So they're talking about the reaction, although we haven't seen the reaction actually from a person about someone who had a fling ostensibly with Chance, and they haven't even gotten around to his family yet. This is so convoluted. It's disturbing. It's like what? Why don't you tell the family? Like I don't understand it. I mean, Summer knows before his parents do, or his other siblings, or whatever. It's just it's wrong. Okay, so the one person who got what was coming to them, and I actually like because okay, now this is the last time we're gonna talk about this because I think it's a done deal at this point. But remember how Victor and Audra had a deal that if Audra seduced Kyle, then he would fund her company, Vivante, right? Okay, so she failed to do that. So today he stopped the backing of funding, and it was really funny to see her try to talk her way out of it or make him understand or whatever kind of language you want to put on it. And he was like, no, we had a deal. You were supposed to do X, Y, Z. You didn't do it. And now I'm cutting the funding. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that covers it. So the story I'm really looking forward to is like I said, I want to see how everybody reacts to Chance's unaliving. But I want to see real reaction, not just, you know, phone calls where you don't hear the other side or whatever. Also, I want to see what happens between Tessa and Daniel. Well, and Mariah too, but they should have handled the Mariah part before they handled the Tessa part. Because Mariah has been different for months now. And we just now saw in a flashback a couple weeks ago what happened. Now, they are taking too long to tell stories. Like, I don't know what's up, but it's like too long. All right. So, yeah, those are two things to be on the lookout for. So, all right. Bye, everybody.